So, Michelle, I like your new do.
Oh, thanks.
For those who are listening to audio, you just can't see it. I realized how flawed talking about your hair was the moment I started. But that does lead me to a topic.
Okay.
So, for those who don't know, Michelle has dreadlocks. You don't want to talk about
Yeah.
dreadlocks?
No, I mean we can.
Michelle was giving me like a very like no, shaking her head. What, you don't want to talk about dreadlocks?
No, we can talk about them.
Well, you have dreadlocks and you've had them for 10 years or more.
11 years.
So, because when I met you, you had dreadlocks. So, I want to know stuff about, because, okay, so, because I was a teenager with long hair and I debated getting dreadlocks multiple times.
Uh-huh.
You look terrified.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, like, what made you decide you wanted to get dreadlocks?
Um I thought they looked nice.
Okay. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with any of the other elements like upkeep or anything like
Oh.
that.
Well, yeah, it did. I was then touring off and on, sort of, kind of, a little bit. And I just didn't have, like, I was basically either sleeping in people's houses or my car, and I just didn't have the ability to take showers as much, or when I did, they were in really gross places that I didn't want to take a shower. I've seen like some bathrooms that are so dirty that I'm like really, really just surprised.
Yeah.
So I thought, I definitely don't have to wash my hair as much. Not that you really need to wash your hair that much anyway, but you know, if my hair is locked, I could wash it less, and that would be really good for me because I don't want to take a shower.
So how much less can you wash your hair if you're dreadlocked?
I mean, it just like depends. I mean, you can basically do whatever you want with hair. It's just hair. It's just doing stuff on your head. I wash my hair like once a week, basically. Just any more than that, and it'll start to like mildew because it gets wet. You know, it stays moist for too long.
I never thought about mildew.
Oh, really?
That's why I'm asking you these questions because I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not just setting you up to point out your cultural appropriation sins. I was
Thanks.
trying, but no, I'm sincerely curious because it's something I never really asked you much about.
Mm-hmm.
So how old were you when you decided? Like, okay, I'm gonna dreadlock my hair?
I don't know. What was 11 years ago?
22, 23?
No, I'm older than that.
I always
Like
forget how.
25?
Okay, I always forget that you're a little bit older than me. I just kind of I've just known you too long, I guess. So I'm not that noticeably. You're like what, 2 years older than me? 3 years? 2 years?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
I
33.
guess. Yeah, then 3 years.
Okay.
Well, like not exactly, like 2.5 years or
Yeah.
something weird like that.
So okay. So tell me so what is the process? I don't know how you even I mean, I know that there's back combing is how you often do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. You just take a section of hair.
You take a section of hair and you comb backwards through it and make it tangle basically.
And
You roll it in your hands.
yeah, I forgot. Since there's audio, I have to actually enunciate what I'm saying. You have to like roll it down, and then you just hope that it stays, maybe.
And you wash it. Do you wash it with something that you definitely want to wash it with something that doesn't have detangling
Sure.
capabilities, right?
Sure, but there's a lot of like weird misconceptions. You could pretty much just wash it with regular soap.
Obviously, you
Hair
wouldn't
soaps.
condition it though, because conditioner tends to have detanglers.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to condition it. Well, that'd be weird anyway. Like, what are you trying to do with the conditioner?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it just gets washed like a sponge, basically.
I've heard a lot of people say that they wash their dreadlocks with like dish soap.
Okay.
Like just a simple hard soap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I mean, I just use a shampoo that I like.
Mhm.
That like, seems like it's okay. It's just, yeah, but if you were to wash it too much, it does, like, because when I first started locking my hair, I was washing it like really frequently, and it definitely kind of got a smell to it, like a not really good smell. So I had to like not do that anymore.
What did you just let it dry out really good to kill the mildew, or?
I was I did some, like, I soaked it in vinegar,
Oh,
that
okay.
kind of stuff. But really it was just kind of like changing my routine that did
Mhm.
it, that stuff needs to be like wet for, what is it, like 72 hours to grow. So once you're fixed, once like it can't grow anymore, it, I guess, eventually dies, or it still lives in my hair, or that particular area has been cut out already because it was so many years ago. Um, so
So
yeah.
when it comes to the dreadlocks, what was the steepest learning curve with having dreadlocks other than mildew?
Um, I don't really know. Just like a lot of things are different, you
Mhm.
know. But it was just, for a while, everything was really itchy, because it's a different,
Because it was like
more or
pulling on your
less.
scalp.
No. Like, my hair is itchy against my skin, and
Oh,
like my
okay.
neck and stuff, just because it's different. It's not what I'm used to. So that was kind of hard. It wasn't really pulling on my scalp very much.
I just didn't
Uh,
know if because it was clumped, maybe the weight was distributed differently or something. So I
It's
wasn't
pretty
sure.
much the same. Because everything, like, all the hairs are next to each other anyway, so it's not like I have like hair from one side of my head that's like bothering the other side or anything like that.
And you've told me about Congoing before. Is
Hmm.
that the phrase? Congoing?
Yeah,
That's when dreads try to like form one colossal dread.
yeah. When the knots are like, they like want to be together, so they start coming together. So if you're not careful and you don't want one big lock of hair, you have to make sure that you're separating them so they don't come together. Yeah.
So what's wrong with having just one giant dreadlock on your head?
Nothing, except that people don't like the way that it looks, and they will make fun of you even more than they normally would.
Do people make fun of you for having dreadlocks?
Not to my face usually, but on the internet, and
Well, are you wait? Are you saying they make fun of you, or they just make fun of
no,
people?
they just make
Okay.
fun of people. Oh, but no, they're just no. I don't know. Who knows? I don't understand anything.
Is this why you were so apprehensive to talk about it? You were like, "Oh no, my bane."
I don't know.
Have you ever thought about taking them out or attempting to take them out?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it. I don't know. It's something I've considered, but then, like, I thought, like, if I go really gray, it'll probably look really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. Also, I mean, they do their own thing. I have a lot of hair that is not locked,
Hmm.
just because of where it is on my head. It's just thinner and it doesn't really want to. So, sometimes if my hair is down on the front, it doesn't look like it's locked at all.
Hmm.
Um, but it's stuff I think about. I've also thought of dyeing them weird colors. Um, but yeah.
Well, the best part about your dreadlocks to me is that first of all, your hair has such volume. I love when you do like a self-portrait of yourself, how it's just all hair, and then there's also a girl in there somewhere. Like, because that isn't entirely inaccurate, especially I remember when your locks were so long because you got them cut a little while ago, right?
It was like 2 years ago.
That's a while ago, you know. Well,
Yeah.
I have long hair too, and I cut my hair like every couple of years. So I get a trim every couple of years. So, but I remember like you used to be able to walk and just hold your hair in your
Oh,
hand.
I can pretty much do that again. So
But it definitely gives you an incredible amount of hair volume, and it also allows you to be like a Simpsons character. Like I can look at your silhouette and be like, "That's Michelle." Because I think as Matt Groening said that that's like the most important part of cartoon characters. Can you
Oh, it
recognize
totally
them in
is.
silhouette?
Yeah, it totally is. Um,
So you have that down pat.
well, good. That's all I got. That's good enough.
Henwolf is sleeping by my foot and she's
Aw.
kicking, like she's having a dream. Like she's kicking
Aw.
my foot with her feet.
She's having a dream that she's also kicking your foot.
But I'm sorry that talking about your dreadlocks made you so terrified and
Oh,
uneasy.
it's okay.
Is it how long has it always been that way that you're like, oh God, my dreads, I don't want to talk about, like what made you react that way to me
I
asking
don't
about your
know.
dreadlocks?
I don't know. I don't know. It's. I mean, it hasn't always been that way. Probably. Uh, but you know, it's just. Um, I don't know. It's culturally weird.
It is.
Um, so it's difficult for me to explain why I have them, and I don't know. It's just, you know, like it's. I don't know.
No, I think that I can agree with that. I mean, that it's frustrating because, like, why should you have to explain why your hair is the way it is unless it's, I mean, you enjoy it, you know? I mean, I guess I can give you a free response would be to, when somebody goes like, so why do you have dreadlocks? Like, you like lost a bet.
Yeah.
Then they'll shut up, you know, lost a bet.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, yeah, it's just it's weird. Uh, it's weird on a lot of different angles. On the just like normal people angle, who would, you know, not have any sort of like weird preconceived ideas about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, like my neighbor recently was like, I don't know what he asked me. He asked me something like, "Oh, so like, you ever think of like cutting them, or like, why do you have them?" And I just said like, "I don't know." And he's like, and he did like the, "Oh, to each his own." It's like, dude, you don't have to be like super passive, like aggressive with me. Like, I know that you don't like them. It's weird.
See, I'm lucky. My hairstyle choice got me all the grief in the world when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and basically none as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I started growing my hair long when I was 12 years old. I got, you know, one of those like classic bowl cuts that kids always had, you know, that were very popular when we were younger. I got one of those, but I knew when I got it, I was like, I'm never getting it cut. It's going to grow out somewhat evenly because
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to get it cut. Growing your hair out is an interesting experience because there's like a 2-year span where your hair is only in your eyeballs. Like that is where it lives,
Yeah.
inside your eyes. For every minute of the day, you're just going,
Mm-hmm.
pushing the hair out of your eyes over and over and over. And if you can get past that 2.5 years, then it hangs and it's only in your eyes like most of the time instead of all of the time. I remember once I was bullied so much about having long hair. One of the happiest things that ever happened to me in middle school was a teacher was talking about preconceived notions. Like when you look at somebody, what can you assume about them that's positive, not negative,
Mm-hmm.
but positive? And he pointed me out in the class and he said, like, Henrique has long hair, which makes me assume he must have a lot of discipline because it's very hard to grow your hair out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because it can be very uncomfortable for a long time when you're, and like, I remember being like almost wanting to cry because somebody said something nice to me.
I've actually gotten that same thing randomly before, where someone was like, "Look at her hair. That takes a lot of discipline." Um,
Isn't it
I
great
was
how if they
just
say
like, "That's so
discipline, it's good,
nice."
but if they say bravery, then it hurts? That takes a lot of courage. You're like,
Yeah,
oh.
it's like, "Oh, okay. Thanks. I know that you don't like it."
It's just great how, because like being told you have courage is like the greatest compliment ever, but it's so insulting. Like, why is it so
Yeah,
insulting?
yeah.
Look at his shirt. That takes a lot of courage. It's like, thank you. I've gotten shit like that for about my outfits. I wear
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous outfits. And I've gotten people saying like, it takes a lot of courage to dress like that. And I'm like, not really.
It does
Um,
now. Thank you.
my mother, when I go out in public, well, being back when I could go out in public with my mother, she would, she's very defensive of me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and protective. So if people stare at me, she'll get mad and sometimes confront people for staring. And it took her years to realize that, because as a kid, it was bad. People were always insulting me, making fun of me, stuff like that. As an adult, most of the time, the only comments I get about the way I look are positive. You know, there are people saying like, I love that. Like, love that shirt, dude, those pants. Or especially, where'd you get those pants? And I'm like, my mother made them.
Yeah.
Mic drop, you know. But I mean, my mother, I mean, I've literally been at the mall and like people at a little like table at the food court are staring at me and my mother will stare right back at them, like really obviously to make them uncomfortable. And I have to be like, Mom, it's not like this happened to me in an accident.
Yeah.
It's not like I got hit on my bicycle and now I look this way. Like I woke up and was like, I want to dress like this so people will notice me. Which is the other thing. Like somebody once said, like, you know, he just dresses that way to get attention. And I was like, whoa.
You're so smart.
You got me. You got me. And then the funniest part is then my immediate response is like, how's that a bad thing? Of course I want attention. I mean, like some people don't, but a lot of people do. So, you're one of my favorite friends in part because when we hang out, people don't know who to stare at. It's like the best. They're literally like, they're both so weird. I mean, I'm right. I know.
No, you're totally right. And in different ways too. So it's really interesting.
Well, one time I went years ago, I went on a date with this girl who was like, I should have known it wasn't going to work, but she was like, she was a stripper, but she was like a super glam stripper. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like everywhere she went, you could kind of guess she was a stripper. She had like she would do up her hair really big and do her makeup perfectly and wear like very, you know, fitting outfits and stuff. She definitely like was way too glamorous for like day-to-day life to where you'd have to notice. But she actually told me at one point, she was like, it's so weird. We went to the Five Below and everybody was looking at you. But yeah. Wait, so you said there are like levels of like, who do I look at? They're so weird. What was that about?
Oh, no. Because we both are weird in different ways. It's like it must create even more interest because they have to decide, you know, who's more interesting to look at. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I mean, because like I've got, for those who've never seen me, you know, I always wear like a Hawaiian shirt. I wear these very loud pants that are, you know, just whatever like shockingly bright fabric I can find at Joann's gets turned into these pants. And I wear, you know, try to wear pretty interesting glasses. I love, you know, accessorizing with my glasses. And I have a beard on my chin that is tied in little multicolored rubber bands, and I have a handlebar mustache, and I have my man. Now I'm listing it out loud. I feel really weird. I have sideburns that come to points on my cheeks. So now I feel really awkward. So I'm gonna ask Michelle to describe how she looks as if somebody's not able to see her or has never seen her.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm listening like really intently.
Oh God, it's not that interesting. You've seen me before.
No, it's interesting to hear you have to narrate it.
I have really long hair, and there's a lot of it, and then I also have bangs, so it's weird. And I have like a lot of tattoos on my arms, and mostly they're weird. I mean, tattoos are weird, but I've got like an anime tattoo, and I have like things. And then I wear clothes on the rest of my body. And sometimes, I wear like a vest and it has lots of patches on it. And they say like really dumb things. And then I have pants or something.
Well, because in the summer you wear like tank tops and shorts, you know, which I mean, obvious apparel choices. And then, yeah. I don't think you dress that way. You dress kind of punk, you know? Now, okay, it's more than kind of, right? I'm trying not. I'm like nervous. I'm like, oh God, what if I say she looks a certain way and it makes her super upset?
No, what way could you say that would make me upset? Like, what did you?
I don't know. I don't understand insecurities.
Oh no, it's okay. Oh, and I don't really shave, so there's that too.
Yeah, so you get like a good beard going.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I don't really have a lot of chin hair. More like a mustache. So.
Well, the way I was introduced to you first was I was literally told how you looked,
Mm-hmm.
and then played songs from one of your CDs. That is how I was introduced to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the songs from the CDs, that's okay, but the look thing,
Well,
I'm afraid.
just that you dressed very outgoingly, that you dressed like
Okay.
very unusually, because I was the king of that. To most of my friends, I'm kind of the king of like everywhere I go, I'm dressed however I want. In fact, when my day job at the time decided to make me start having to wear normal pants, which wasn't originally a problem, I remember I called them slave pants.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I would literally walk into the door of my apartment, and the moment the door closed, I just dropped the pants on the floor and put on good pants.
Yeah.
And I had 2 pairs of slave pants. So, because I hated them, I only wore them exactly while I was at work.
If I had to wear different pants, I would only have one pair of them, so I understand.
I had 2 because I was really lazy about laundry, so I needed that extra time before they started to really stink.
I would still just have one.
Fair point. Now I was so bad about laundry because I had to have coins that I would wait until I naturally occurred enough change.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would be like really low on clothes. But no, I don't know. So I'm just glad that I could take some of the staring jeers away for you.
Thank you.
Have you, like, as an adult, do you get a lot of praise for the way you look?
It's mixed, you know. I don't get a lot of like as much like negativity anymore, at least in the last bunch of years. But people do compliment my hair or things like that. Or that kind of stuff, or my vest that I wear usually that I don't wear when I'm in my house, which is why I'm not wearing it right now. So it's been okay. But there's always people who say to each his own and just kind of shrug.
Shrug. The worst is a shrug.
Yeah.
I've had angry people, like people who must just live life very angry, say things like "fair enough" when they see me. Like they'll look me up and have like "fair enough" or whatever, and I'm like, okay,
thanks.
I'm gonna go get in my decent car and go live my pretty good life, I guess. I don't know, like how, like I think I'm good. I don't know. But more often than not, I get people like super excited with how I dress. Occasionally people want pictures with me. Did I ever tell you about when I went to New York City with my mother and how it was like the most inappropriate thing I think has ever happened in my life? I told you about this.
I think so.
My mother had never been to New York, and I was living not far from New York at the time. So she came to visit, and I took her to New York. And when we went to visit Ground Zero, the 9/11 memorial, in case you forgot that, because you never forget. Okay.
Yep.
But we were literally standing there reading the things, and it was pretty solemn, obviously. And literally like 3 or 4 Japanese tourists walked up to me and wanted to get a picture with me. It was like a scene out of a movie that's a bit problematic now.
Yeah.
Because they were literally just like Japanese tourists, like, oh man, with cameras around their necks and everything. And they took a picture with me. My mother took the picture for them in front of Ground Zero. So like the background is just like really sad memorials.
Yeah.
But what's saddest was that I had no way, because they could barely speak English. I had no way to see. I wish I had that photo of me just smiling in front of Ground Zero with a bunch of Japanese people. That would have been the coolest picture to have.
You should have had I don't remember what cameras were like back then, but you should have had like your mom also take a picture on your camera or something like that, if that was a thing.
We didn't have a camera. Oh. I remember in phone cameras, this was 2007, 2008, maybe. So I wish I had taken a picture, but it was just so surreal at the time. In hindsight, all of what you said makes sense. Or like give them a business card and be like, hey,
Send
email
me
me.
this picture.
Yeah, I
And
would
they'd
like
be
to see
like,
it.
don't understand you. Oh.
They would just nod, hamburger.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was too surreal. What was that look
I
on
was
your
trying
face?
to figure out how to say I don't understand you in Japanese.
Just say nani.
Like,
Nani?
well, yeah, that would work. But like, it's like wakare masen. I don't know. There's something else though that I'm leaving out.
Everybody, Michelle's speaking Japanese. Go on, say more stuff in
No, that's
Japanese,
all.
Michelle.
That's all I have. That's all I have.
Say more
No,
stuff in Japanese, Michelle. Go
hasn't
on.
this been embarrassing enough?
What? You don't want to show your weeb colors today?
Oh my god. It's like, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I still there are a few moments in my life that are so surreal I have trouble believing they happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one is I attended a friend's funeral, and he was very old. Well, he wasn't very old, but he was in his early 70s, and I'd only known him for like 20 years or 15 years, so like I didn't know him when he was young at all. And after the funeral, which was incredibly sad, unlike the average funeral,
Mm-hmm.
but it was incredibly
Different.
sad.
Sad. Yeah.
Well, then we pile into cars to do the what do you call it, the thing where every procession.
Mm-hmm.
We did the procession, but his burial site was 25 minutes away by car. It's really far, and the procession was so long they ran out of flags to put on the cars.
Oh wow.
So luckily they were everybody was like, well, what if I don't have a flag? And they're like, the traffic camera is not going to see you in a tight procession and give you a ticket. They're just going to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were trying to be nice. So like a lot of us carpooled, didn't all take our own cars.
Mm.
But so we're in a procession that's insanely long. And have you ever been in a funeral procession?
I don't think so.
It's crazy because you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So like if there's a red light, you just go.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
I've definitely gotten almost
I've gotten
by a funeral.
I've gotten
procession.
stuck behind them before, and I've gotten
Yeah.
stuck at a green light, a red light at them before and stuff.
One time, sorry,
Oh no, please.
I saw in West Philly, I got stuck, and there was a funeral procession. And around here, they don't even really have flags. You just have your hazards on, so it's really hard to tell if you're on the side, like what's going on, like why are all these cars going? And so a car in front of me tried to make like a left or something because we were like perpendicular to it, and this woman who was in the procession was pissed off and threw a shake at the person's car. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, they didn't know. Like, none of us knew what was happening.
You gotta grieve in the way that makes you happy, man.
I mean, I'm glad it was just a shake, I guess. But, like...
I want to know why she was enjoying a frosty milkshake in a funeral procession.
Maybe she just had one. I don't know. I didn't understand.
It's just like, what would make this funeral go down a lot more smooth? A velvety chocolate milkshake.
It was a light color, so I think it was like strawberry or something.
The one of those people.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh no, you're fine. So we get to the grave plot, and the reason I say it's so surreal is like, so the procession is surreal, but then during the procession it started snowing. Heavy.
Oh wow.
I mean, snowing so much so that while we were standing there waiting for them to start the final service, like you had to brush the snow off of yourself. Like it was building up on people. You
could just leave it. Well, you don't have to brush it off.
I mean, some people did, communists. I don't know why communists, but no, some people did, but it was my point is just that like, that's how heavily it was snowing though. Like you could be a person at motion and the snow was piling up on you.
Yeah.
So that makes it surreal that you're hearing like the ashes to ashes speech and everything, and it's just snow. It looks like a movie. Like, and only in a movie does it snow that crazy during just the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he was in the Air Force, so there was a 21 gun salute.
Wow.
Which is 7 guns firing 3 times. And then like they have a trumpet. all of this is only things I've seen on television and movies.
Mhm. Yeah.
So to this day, when I remember it, I'm like, is that how it happened? Or am I just remembering like a really sad episode of Perry Mason? You know, like,
Hmm.
how old am I? Perry Mason?
Yeah.
You don't even know who that is, do you?
I don't even know what you're talking about, but that's okay. I'm pretending that I do.
I thought you were like, I don't even know what a funeral is. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm actually really concerned about your sanity right now. I don't know what a funeral is or why you keep talking about it.
Welcome to this. We're going to change the name of the show to This Show is Gaslighting. And it's just going to be every episode as I tell a story and then you refute my sanity. But it was incredibly surreal to just be standing there and the snow's pouring down and people are crying and then the guns and then the fucking trumpet. It's just like, whoa, this doesn't feel real. And also, I mean, funerals are surreal anyway, generally. But that was like extra surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say something that's fun and lighthearted. Oh my God. Save the show from my darkness.
I don't know. Funerals.
That's not helping. That's just, you just said funerals again. I mean, do you want to share your favorite funeral story?
No.
Good. You shouldn't want to. They're sad, I guess.
Yeah. What if you say funerals but happy? Funerals.
Funerals.
Yeah, we fixed it.
I like it. We both had to shrug too. Funeral. There's got to be a shrug. Funerals. That reminds me of that old Zach Galifianakis joke where it was like, it's all about emphasis. Like you could say she had a crack baby, or you could say she had a crack baby. I just thought that was funny. I don't know. Yeah, I got invited to a wedding. And I literally, the two things that make me go to like things like that are weddings and funerals. Although I don't like going to either.
Yeah.
I really don't like weddings. And to be frank, I only go to funerals if it's to support living people.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a thing with me. If it's a funeral and like I was friends with them, but I don't really know any of their family or anything, I don't know if I would go because I don't know that it would do any good. But like, if it's somebody I know and I have a lot of mutual friends, you better believe I want to be there with everybody to be supportive and stuff. But I've been to very few weddings. And one of the reasons is people choose the worst times to get married. I got an invite to a wedding, the third wedding I've been invited to that is on Halloween. And it's like when I see it say like on October 31st, I'm like, oh, so you just don't want me to go to your wedding? Because how am I going to go to your wedding on Halloween?
I think you have to say that you care more about them than you care about Halloween.
That's not true.
Well, I think that's what they want you to say.
I think that they think I'll be like, oh man, I love Halloween and it'll be so much more fun at your wedding. I mean, maybe. And it's not that I'm not going to go to their wedding on Halloween because I would rather just do Halloween stuff. I'm going to be busy. I'm already, unless something massive changes, I already have somewhere I have to be on Halloween. And it's not some big event that's going to be COVID. COVID will probably stop. And most years when people have invited me on Halloween, I'm like, dude, I'm booked. I'm like doing a convention or a screening or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I feel bad because I want to tell them, but I also feel like it's such a shitty thing to be like, well, I can't go because it's on Halloween because you put it on Halloween. Why couldn't you have done the night before Halloween or something?
Yeah. I've never been invited to a wedding on Halloween before, so.
Oh, that's sad. It sounded sadder. First I was like, I've never been invited to a wedding. I was like, nobody's ever wanted to burden you with coming to their wedding?
No, basically not. So.
No, I've seen adorable pictures of you and your mom and your sister at a wedding. It was adorable. You were all wearing dresses. It's cute. I'm what?
I don't know.
Your family's adorable.
They're Horrible.
So, the worst wedding I ever went to was a Catholic wedding,
Mm-hmm.
the only Catholic wedding, because there's not a huge Catholic population in this part of Ohio. So I remember being very surprised when I went to a Catholic church.
Yeah.
Because I had to find it. I was like, where's there a Catholic church? And there was one, and it was huge, but like it's off the beaten path for me. You know, like
Okay.
around here, it's like, oh, there's a Baptist church, there's a Baptist church, there's a Lutheran church, there's a Baptist church. Like that's what's around here for the most
There's
part.
not just Catholic churches everywhere, and
No,
the
no.
synagogue and a Presbyterian church.
We have 3 synagogues that I know of, but I try not to keep a list because I feel like they don't want that.
I think I'm allowed to.
Yeah,
so
oh yeah, that's
I will
different.
count next time for you.
But no, I know there's a beautiful big synagogue in downtown Dayton
Okay.
that hosts lots of events and stuff like that, and they host like non-Jewish events sometimes. Like every now and then it'll be like oh gosh, there's an organization, a Jewish organization that owns it, and every now and then there'll be like a like an art show, and it'll be like hosted at the Dayton Jewish Alliance or whatever, you know.
Okay.
And then I know there's a synagogue in Oakwood, Ohio, because there's a very big Jewish population there, especially Orthodox Jews there. And the only reason I know that is because it is unusual to see a bunch of Orthodox Jews walking down the street all together. So I'm like, oh, there's an Orthodox Jew population there, because I would never have guessed. And then there's another synagogue. I don't remember where it is exactly, but I've heard people reference it. So I'm sure there are like 4 or 5 really large Catholic churches. But like every corner churches are all Protestant here, and they're generally Lutheran or Baptist or Pentecostal.
Okay.
So, but I remember going to the Catholic church for a wedding, which was of a old friend from high school who was like super Wiccan and non-religious, and it was like so clearly the wife's family was making this all happen.
Yeah.
The marriage lasted 7 months.
Wow, that long.
Right. So, but I went, and what was fascinating to me was, first of all, how many times you had to get up and sit down.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they like that.
But also that it's a wedding ceremony. So like the priest is saying, you know, and today we joyously bring together these 2 people to become one and share their lives and blah, 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 blah. But we must never forget the sin that is inherent to all of us. And we must beg forgiveness every day that we can be good enough to stand in God's grace. And I'm like, wow, they worked guilt and fear into a wedding. Okay. I mean, it's literally just a party. It's like, yo, you guys like to bang so much, you're making it legal. Ah! Wedding. That's that's how I view weddings.
I guess so.
And then I went to a Catholic funeral. And the saddest thing is, it was way more fun.
Oh, really?
Well, okay. It was a very sad funeral. It was a person very close to someone I'm very close with, who had passed. But it was showbiz. They had a musical performances, like 5 musical performances, and and I mean like with pre-records and microphones and PAs, and it was literally show business. So it was interesting and heartbreaking and touching and all those things, as where the wedding was just kind of frustrating and boring. So I guess I'd have to say that wedding was less fun than that funeral, even though the funeral was very, very sad.
Yeah, that's too bad, but I guess I'm glad they're not married anymore.
Me too. No, very much. Also, I'm guessing because they put so much effort into all the entertainment at the funeral, I'm guessing the family wouldn't be upset if I said that it was a very enjoyable funeral.
I think they'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to preface it. It was a very enjoyable funeral. Like, it wasn't just enjoyable by like the standard, like, man, this chocolate cake is great. Man, this was great. No. For a funeral, very fun. You looked like you had something to add, and then you thought better of it.
Yeah.
Well, what's the funnest funeral you've ever been to?
Dude, I've never been to a fun funeral.
No. But it's in the name. Funeral.
Only if you pronounce it that way.
Well, you pronounce things weird all the time.
Yeah, but I pronounce them correctly. So.
Orange. It's orange.
Why would you want to do that to
So,
the
so do you, when you play
orange?
Truth or Dare, is it Truth or Dare?
No, and it doesn't mean that all like languages. The English language is much more complicated than that.
Oh
Much
yeah.
more complicated.
Why wouldn't it be orange? It's Orange, orange.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It comes from a different language, and in that language, you probably pronounce it differently. Also, I don't know. I
What about Florida? That doesn't make sense. It's
Florida.
Florida. It's
Why do
Flor.
you want to hit
Florida.
that O so hard? Like I don't
Florida?
know.
I
Yeah,
don't hit it that hard.
Florida.
Florida.
You're yeah, you're
Florida.
hitting it way harder than Florida.
Florida. There is no O in Florida. It's Florida. That is not Florida. 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 Florida.
No,
Do you say Nevada or Nevada?
I don't know actually. Do you say Colorado or Colorado?
I say Colorado.
You should say Colorado because that's how they pronounce it in Colorado.
Maybe.
But that's how I say it too.
It's okay. I say Quebec, and it makes me sad.
Oh, I don't because I'm not good enough.
Well, it could be worse. I could say Quebecois, which is like exactly how they say it, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do that. It's like a nice happy medium. My point is, if Colorado wants me to say it right, they can ask me themselves.
They're not gonna though. You're just supposed to know.
All right, I think that